Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Make sure that you are subscribed. Kantika, there's also an opportunity to become a member. You can press the join button. It will tell you what to do. So you guys, as I continue to watch the interview with Duduzani Zuma, I actually realize, you guys, that he's lived such an interesting life. And I think most people are interested in his life because, of course, he is the son of the former president, Jacob Zuma, and he's been in some scandals with his father. Remember, there was a court case that they were attending together. So it would look like sometimes like he's the son that is the closest to him. And maybe that's how it looks like to us as the public, and it's not reality, but sometimes it does feel like that. I thought, you guys, I wanted to come here and just talk a little bit about what he says about his mom. Like I had said on the other video, that I found that to be interesting. I did go and find some article that was talking about his mother's passing at the time. And he talked about how his mom did actually commit a suicide. She had overdosed on something that he didn't necessarily want to mention what it was. And when he is asked about what the reasons were for that to happen, he doesn't really want to say. He says that yes, there was an suicide note that was left behind, and he did see what was on that note. And then after that, the note had disappeared because it was taken by one individual. All of that, you guys, if you look for articles around his mother's passing, you can see that story, because at some point there were reports that the suicide note had been leaked, and he's not very happy about the fact that that had happened. But he says that yes, he did see what was on the suicide note, but he would never say what was on there because there was something that was private, you guys. I always find it to be sad when men talk about such traumatic experiences that they've gone through, but they talk about it like, "Ish, yeah, yeah, I was the one that found her. They called me and she had, like when they feel they have to do that." And I guess that's how they survive such, experiences in their lives. But I always find it to be even more sad than when somebody gets emotional about the situation, because I cannot imagine trying to not get emotional about the fact that you, at 16 years old, you were the one that was called by adults around you to say, listen, there's something wrong with your mother. And then you were the one that actually saw your mother take her last breath. And you were the one that found the note that was basically explaining why she had done what she did. And then after that, you had to deal with whatever else that happened after that, So yeah, you guys, I find that to be sad. At 16, I find it to be sad that as much as we can say now, because the thing now is like, men are allowed to cry. As much as we say men can cry, but I still feel like they still don't believe that they can cry. They still don't believe that crying is okay. Because I can imagine talking about my mother's passing and trying to talk about it in a way that is like, yeah, that is, what happened. That was the last time I saw the old lady, Yeah, it makes it more sad. Anyway, you guys, the way that he talks about his mom, it really makes you feel like she was a lady that, you would have loved to get to know. And it is interesting that the first thing when he's asked about his mom, uh, the first thing that he mentions is the ass whipping. Okay. I wish I Umawaka. That's the one thing that I got from how his mother was. And I do feel like also Duduzani seems to have like a middle child syndrome, because children, okay, when you're a middle child, you always think that everybody is more important than you. Actually, you don't think it is like that. If you're a middle child, okay, I am a middle child. So I know everybody, okay? Sometimes you've forgotten, honey. So I think that he does have those symptoms, because he does talk about how his older brother at some point was like his mom's favorite, and then his younger brother was also his mom's favorite when the younger brother came. So now, you guys, it almost feels like, as much as he is speaking positively about his mom, but I feel like the way things that he wishes could have been done, different. Okay, like the ass whipping thing. I feel like he does feel like she did too much. Okay, and I also guess we'll never really know what the real reason is as far as his mom is concerned in terms of why she decided to take her own life. And but when I was going through the articles that were written at the time, they talk about how there was a line in the SSI notes that said that she had had the most miserable 24 years being married to the former president, almost like whatever reason that she had to do that had to do with the fact that had to do with the misery she was feeling because she was married to the former president. Obviously, the SSI notes was not two lines, there was more in there, but he was not comfortable or he did not want to mention it. So, yeah, you guys, I do wonder, like at an age of, I think he said she was 44, 45, which is like around my age, you know. I'm just wondering what makes you, get to a point where, because if the issue was the marriage, you could get out of a marriage. You know what I mean? I mean, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma was able to get out of the marriage at her age, So I do wonder, you guys, that what was it? Was she dealing with some mental health issues too? And why would she do that and leave her kids behind in the whole thing. But yeah, it's great to see that they've survived, And I think what he said, one of the brothers passed away afterwards, like, but for something different, He had a medical condition that he was dealing with and passed away. So yes, you guys. Sometimes like you see these kids that are, born to these families and you don't take the time to think about what they went through because you just think it was all, you know. But I love his interview, guys. I hadn't really taken the time to watch some of his interviews, okay? But this one makes me feel like I want to know everything about Duduzani because I think that he had an interesting life. I really like the way that this interview was done. If you get a chance, you guys, the podcast is called Wide Awake podcast. Okay, but if you just type Duduzani Zuma's interview, you will see it. It was posted a day ago. So yes, you guys, it's a good one. If you have time to watch it, go and watch it. It's like over an hour and it's worth your time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section. If you have time, go watch the podcast and come back over here to have a conversation. Okay, thank you so much. Yinithanda Kakho.
Thing is, I'm 42 now. She passed away when she was 44. Well, didn't pass away. She took her own life when she was 44. That's in 2 years' time. And I just tried to link back my experiences, my life, where I'm at now, and just trying to understand the dynamic in what was going on in her mind at the time, because it's a serious thing for someone to do what they did and get themselves, into that position. So just trying to understand it is something that, I'm still studying it and I'm still experiencing it and trying to get to the answers from the way I see it. But she was a loving a mother. My old lady, my mom she was an interesting character. She was multilingual. She spoke a bunch of languages, how only she knows. Portuguese, English, Zulu, Swahili, Shona, Ndebele, Tswana,
So a lot of South African people are amazing with languages.
French, so because she traveled a lot. She worked for the airlines at that time. It's called Linhas Aéreas de Moçambique, LAM, which was their national flag carrier at the time. So yeah, she moved around a bit and she was well traveled. So she had a good international perspective. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's who she was. That day, it was actually in Pretoria, and I happened to be on the scene because everyone else was wherever they were in the country and the world. So I happened to be in the house that day and overdosed on whatever the hell she overdosed on. So I caught her on a dying bed, basically. So
You found her?
Yeah. So the staff came and they were freaking out. So when I got there, it was just like, I'm freaking out, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And, the medics on the way, and there was a note, I read the note, and then I've spoken about this before, this specific part. So the note was taken by another gentleman. I mean, it's public knowledge, but I don't want to open that up.
Yeah.
So it's there. People know who he is. And I don't know how everyone else feels about it or what they know, but I read the note, and something that I've kept to myself, and I'm not gonna repeat it, and it is what it is. There's certain bits of it that they've tried publishing, because what upset me is this note was leaked, and the rest is history. We're here today, and we move on. Yeah. But that was the last time I saw the good old lady.